Hi, my name is Lauren Kirshner, and I'm here to read my creative nonfiction piece from the book The New Spice Box. This is a piece about my childhood experience stuttering. I stuttered from around the time I began to speak until the age of about 6 or 7, and I underwent speech therapy for a time. And this is a piece about that and also my relationship with my dad. So I'm going to read a few paragraphs now. It's called Marilyn Monroe Stutter. Around the time I began to speak, in that early part of childhood that I remember as a grove of animal crackers and pink snow pants, a tiny iron fence grew on the tip of my tongue. I don't remember noticing it first. What I remember more is the tape recorder that arrived at that same time. It was dark gray, the size of an LP cover, with chubby buttons shaped like Pez. It sat on a table in a windowless room I would enter once a week, while my father waited outside in his great brown bear-like parka. "You have a stutter," I remember being told. "This is going to help." My father had a stutter too. His had developed around the same age mine had, but in another era, when speech therapies were still limited and stuttering misunderstood, classified variously as a mental, neurological, or nervous illness with little in the way of treatment. Nevertheless, my father's parents, his mother with her waved apricot hair and pearly determination, his father, a master tailor with a fading Auschwitz tattoo, took my father to speech therapy, beginning our little family tradition. In one of my earliest memories of stuttering, I'm talking to a boy in the lunchroom. I'm pointing to a pillar that's painted to look like a nutcracker doll, complete with a gigantic jaw and gold felt trim jacket, when the boy suddenly breaks into a weird, excited smile and proceeds to say, "My name is Lauren," only he stutters it out. And when I realize I'm being imitated, I hunch back to the garbage where I remember taking a very long time to peel a tiny tangerine. In another memory, I'm putting up my hand in a lesson about telling time. When the teacher calls on me, I start speaking, but eyes shift, my mouth stops, no sound is coming out. The teacher is smiling, waiting. I can hear the shh sound of my classmates shifting on the rug. And finally, my breath slams through the little iron fence on the tip of my tongue, and out comes the word. And I'm relieved and proud. But later, someone in the schoolyard comes up to me and asks, "Why do you talk so weird?" I don't remember talking directly to my parents about my stutter because I was concerned that my mother, being one to confront problems head on, would march into the schoolyard and give one of my tormentors a piece of her mind, which I knew, like my bowl cut and my huggable sweatshirt, would not improve my social standing. What complicated things too was my growing awareness of my father's stutter. What I had seen before as natural now became noticeable in my journey to overcome what we shared. I worried that if I talked about disliking my stutter, my father would feel bad about his own, or worse, think that his stutter bothered me. His stutter didn't matter to me at all. I had barely even thought about it. And his far more interesting qualities, like his willingness to buy me horsey rides at the grocery store, put Joe Louis cakes in my lunch, or read me bedtime stories, or draw hamsters smoking fat cigars, took precedence in my mind and made me love him dearly. My speech therapy was at the Clark Institute, today called the Center for Addiction and Mental Health, next to the main building in a storybook-style Victorian with a turret, bay windows, and a wraparound porch. I loved the attention from the women who worked there, the speech therapists with their plastic name badges, their lipstick, and the soft, smooth way my speech therapist Leslie said my name. "Lauren?" A flower wrapped in a question just for me. My speech therapy, aside from teaching me to slow down, enunciate, and pronounce, also had a secondary benefit. I felt of improving my social standing at school. When I showed up late and my friends asked where I had been, I never said elusively, "I've been at the doctor," which technically would have been true, but I also never said specifically, "I've been having an intensive 1-hour session with my speech therapist." I simply said, "I was at speech." leaving my friends to look at me with newfound respect. Nobody asked me questions about what I did at speech, and ultimately, I was glad for that, because had I told them, they would have thought me much less mysterious. This is why. In speech therapy, I did almost nothing but play with toys. Truly, I had never seen such a toy collection. There were board games, colored blocks, beanbag dolls, a good old-fashioned chesty Barbie, but I remember gravitating towards a wonderful dollhouse with a spine across the top, which opened like a book to reveal secret inner chambers. I could stick furniture into that house as much as I wanted in any formation. I could put a couch in the bathroom, a dresser on the lawn. I could hang tiny carpets from the windows, and nobody would stop me. I love speech therapy. I loved Leslie. And unlike my friends at school, Leslie always wanted to play what I wanted to play. The only condition was that I had to talk it all out. Talk it out? Yes, Leslie said. As you play with the dolls, tell me what you're doing. Tell me their story. So that is what I would do.